there's some echo. There you go.
What? All right, Evan, I'm doing it. Hello, everybody.
Oh, Joe.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. It's Friday, Joe.
It
you
is
know what
Friday.
That means? You know what that
It means that everybody gets to watch us for an hour.
I was going to phrase it like it's the time of the week I get to spend with my good buddy, Joe, talking to really smart people, way smarter than us. And we are very excited today. So I'm your host, Evan Rance. Welcome to Labs Advisors Live. This is our first August show. We have a big August actually coming up. We got Andy Fisher today. We got Noel and Kelly Cody next week. We have a Mega Camp panel at the end of the month, and we also have Sammy Massey. So we got a really awesome month lined up. I'm actually really stoked. Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I have my coffee, my afternoon coffee, because I am out of energy. And I'm actually looking forward to this and Andy to hype me up for the rest of the day. So
thanks, Joe. I'll definitely try and hype you up. So not as good as caffeine shot in the arm. So
no. And
Joe, I'm glad you have the coffee, because I went to go to the coffee maker and it had been turned off long ago. And
it was cold coffee.
Yeah,
ice cold.
I almost did it anyway. But
that's gross.
Here we are. So today we have our guest with us, Andy Fisher with the AF Austin team. And I don't know what SWMC number. Oh, I do know what that means.
Southwest Market Center number 1.
Market Center number 1, the mothership.
That's right. The mothership. So now owned by Gary Keller himself and KWRI. So
are we awesome. Name dropping this early in the call?
Hey, he's my broker owner person. So I'm just saying, it's kind of cool to have Gary himself running our office now. So cool things.
Call on the weekends when you have questions about how to handle a new buyer.
Dude, he's my bud, man. Gary, what's up, man? Can you help a brother out? So
you give him a call. Gary, I'm having trouble with opportunities in command. Can you show me how to do this?
It's not Gary, it's GK. So what's up, GK? Yeah.
Yes. Got him on speed dial.
Well,
Andy Fisher with the AF Austin team, $5 million in production year to date, with $4 million in the contract right now.
Yeah. So we're trying to kick ourselves up into a new level. And there is no try. We are doing it. So I think we were kind of set back a little bit from COVID last year. So we just had a baby. That kind of puts, we both, my wife and I, took a little bit of time to actually, relish in having a new child. So we that's kind of why we doing that. But we're having a killer year. We're doing better, trying to grow the team. So
we love that. And what I love is that you have taken a concept that we all know, we all love, the 10 days of pain, or as I called it, the 10 days of perfection, because I don't like pain. And you're using it in command in kind of a little way that allows you to, one, have days off and not have things like catch up with you. And two is sometimes you just have a busy day and you don't actually get to that part, and you want to be able to keep the system so you don't miss anything. And so you've built a way of using command in the 10 days of pain together with the system so that it actually functions the way you intend it to.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, smart plans, guys, if you're not using it, you're wasting a lot of time and energy, just because we can do it one time and set it up. And, if we need to modify it, it's pretty simple to modify. So smart plans is just, it's easy.
Cool. And we do have somebody who commented that you look sharp. I'm just going to point that out, but I'm also going to point out that they absolutely need to go to streamyard.com/Facebook so we can see who they are who made that comment. As you can see, Evan actually did that, and so we can see his comment. I don't know who didn't do it, but we are calling you out. So let's get started.
Whoever that is has got 66 chances to hit that link in the comments.
I know who that is. Thank you, Mr. Marty Miller.
And real quick, I want to say how excited Joe's been about this too, because I think it was like a couple of weeks ago, Joe called me and basically said, you have to call Andy Fisher and get him on to do this 10 days of pain and smart plans. And I was like, dude, that sounds right up my alley. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So my issue, and I'll say this solves a problem with my issue with smart plans, which is there's the great automation, but let's say you have a task you need to do, and that task is like send them foreclosure listings, right? And you were busy that day, or you were sick and you didn't do it. And the next day they get a text message that automatically that says, oh, hey, what'd you think of those foreclosure listings? Or, am I doing a good job? Or, and you didn't do that last thing. It looks weird, right? So Andy's kind of, what it does is it allows you to have those gaps and life to happen without things getting ahead of you and you missing out on it. And that's the brilliance of what he's doing here. And it's such a simple change, and yet it's a huge brilliance. So yeah, I'm hyping this up. Hopefully that's the topic we're talking about and you didn't change it on me, but let's
I haven't changed anything. Yeah, it's definitely so to answer Kimber's question, we do have our 10 Days of Pain in the KW library. You can find it if you just type in AF Austin, and we've got our 10 Days of Pain. I think that's our first version, and we constantly are changing it. So that way, when we notice that there's something that needs to be changed, we'll start a new 10 Days of Pain, because currently you can't just, if you've got people on your 10 Days of Pain that you're rolling with right now, you can't just stop what you're doing and do the modification and then it changes everything. So what we do is we make a copy of it and we put, new 10 Days of Pain, or use this 10 Days of Pain. And that way the new modifications are updated in there for us. So it makes it super simple. And if you guys want me to, I'll just go ahead and dive right into it and start showing you, unless you guys have other questions.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the screen here.
Yeah.
I see new 10 Days of Pain. I'm assuming this is what we're looking at, right? The new one. Is that what we're diving into? Okay.
Yeah.
And
that's what we're going to
dive into. You have new 1, new 2, new 3, new 4. So those are those different 10 Days of Pain that you add to different people, or is this all the same plan broken out?
It's the same plan tied together. So it's the continuation of, like day, the first. Here, let me just kind of dive in there and show it to you.
Let's do it.
And so right now, our 10 Days of Pain, we'll go ahead and hop on in there.
Can you pull the new one?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
What
the new one? This is the new one. So immediately when a lead comes in, and which I hope you guys are all using the command to actually generate leads, because when ours come in, they automatically come onto a smart plan. And so it has a trigger event. Basically any new lead that comes into command, we get an automated task that says, hey, make a phone call. So it's speed to lead. We do jump ball on our team. So that's how our lead routing is done. So it's the first person that can get to it gets the lead. That's myself, Jody, my wife, who is also my co-rainmaker. And then we have another agent. His name is Frank Ortega. He's the Round Rock City Council member. So, it's goes between the three of us, and whoever can get to the call first, speed to lead, makes the phone call, and then of course says, here's our little text script, which, we didn't steal that, or we didn't create this from the beginning. We stole this from, I think it was probably Ben Kinney is who we got this from, or Zillow, or one of those other that have, we're not trying to, we're R&Ding everything that we possibly can and putting it into command and making it original for ourselves.
I don't know if Ben probably came up with it. He's smart like that. But he definitely popularized it if he didn't come up with it.
Absolutely.
Right. So he was definitely the one who when he started talking about it, everybody followed.
Absolutely.
So Yeah. Cool.
So trigger event automatically gives you a task to make a phone call. Then we send out an email immediately, and we've done this through designs, and I'll give you guys a real quick preview. This immediately goes out to the potential client, just saying, hey, this is whoever the agent is, which I think it automatically defaults to me and Jody as the rainmaker, and just saying that somebody from our team will get in contact with you shortly. And this is all done in command. We didn't do anything crazy, super simple. And then we also send out a immediate through Twilio text. So it's when text is allowed to go out. So if it happens like in the middle of the night, this text will go out first thing in the morning.
Right.
So, and then
now, and this is fun fact, and I learned this the other day. Text will delay, and the email will go in the order. So if you have the text first, it's not going to send out the email till it's sent the text. But if you put the email first, that email will fire as soon as that lead comes in, and then the text will go out the next morning. So order is very important here, guys.
Absolutely. So, and then, that's the thing. When you make that first phone call, if somebody picks up, you take them off the 10 days of pain. You don't go any further with it. You put them on a different smart plan. You ask them, hey, what's your real estate needs? What are you doing? When's your goal to move? How can I help you? You are coming to them as a helper, this is what I'm here.
If we're following the MREA, right? Once you've made contact with somebody, what do you then do? You put them on an 8x8. So you would put them on some other kind of plan. I don't know if that's what you do personally, but now you've had the conversation. Now it's time to establish mind share. And that's when we put them on something like an 8x8.
Yeah. And that's the thing is we try and figure out, like, if somebody tells us that they're not looking until a year from now, hey, Joe, is it okay if I follow up with you from time to time just to see if your real estate needs have changed? I'll probably call you maybe once a quarter, have a quick conversation with you, see if there's anything that I can assist you with. And then they say yes, great. If they say no, no problem. I'm not that kind of agent. I'm not going to hound you. I appreciate your time. Thank you for reaching out to us. And, if things change, please let us know. I'm happy to help you. So
do you put them on some kind of drip then?
So I'll put them on. We have so if a lot of our people tell us, I'm looking maybe, like a year from now. And so we'll put them into our opportunities. And then the opportunities has, is it a red, which is anything over 12 months, a yellow, which is 9 to 12 months. I'm sorry, that's orange. And then the yellow is like 6 months to the 9-month mark. And then green for us is 1 to 6 months. So anything in that time period, we've got to be working that lead.
Yeah.
So we have different smart plans. Go ahead.
This is what I'm hearing, Evan. We have to book Andy in September for how he handles his cultivate opportunities. That is another class where we need to get him on for, because that sounds like a really cool system that I don't know if we have time to dive into that today.
So you can do all my smart plans for me.
So I'm not. Evan, don't you do smart plans for people now or something like that? Isn't that your new job?
Oh, I do.
Evan does everything.
Evan does everything. So, so we put them, like if it's a long-term plan, we've got a long-term made contact with a smart plan. We've got, short-term, mid-term. So we will make the people on the smart plans to like whatever Kurt tells them. But if we don't get the response, after making the first phone call, it goes on to the next day. So you got the next call, make another phone call. And then, hey, just following up with you, Andy, from the team, another text message. And then we've got a day delay. So this will be day 3. And then another email goes out. And basically, just to give you guys a quick preview, another thing, we have embedded YouTube video in here. So you can click on the video and it's to put a face to the, the email that we're actually real people reaching out to you, trying to help our clients find, or our potential clients find what they're looking for. So, it's just another way to put a face to who you are. Let the people know.
I love that you got this video in here that you did that, because you basically done what BombBomb does.
Exactly. Yeah. So we used to do BombBomb. We love BombBomb, and we just decided, like, hey, that's a $1,500 a year expense. Let's just and the videos, if you guys want me to, I can send them to you, or we can add them down after the video, after the interview. But like, we make it very kind of feels personal, but it's very general. So that way it's the same video that's going out, but it's just saying, hey, I'm Andy Fisher. I want to reach out to you. I want to help you. Have you started talking with a lender? That kind of thing. So, and as you can see, now we're at the end of the first smart plan. So this is ended, and now it triggers into new day number 2.
Now, why do you have it? Why not just continue the smart plan? Why do you have it go to a new smart plan?
So back when smart plans first rolled out, when we created this, you can only do, there's rules with smart plans. And I'll go back. Let me go back down here. Oh, sorry, guys. That was my bad. Smart plans has rules. And sometimes, Jody just yelled at me. I need to create a new one. So create a new smart plan.
And that is Jody. That is his co-rainmaker and wife telling him how to do this. And we love Jody for that.
She is the bomb, Diggs. So over here, it tells you guys, like, allows you to do so many things within a certain period. And so the way that we have our setup is we had to chain our smart plan together so that it could fully function the way that we wanted it to. And so that's kind of why. So, whenever you create your first smart plan, if you're a newer agent, this little tips and tricks, rules, whatever you want to call it over here, allows you, like, you can't do longer than 14 days. So granted, ours is only 10, but you can only have like so many in a certain smart plan. So that's why we tied them together.
Well, I think that's saying that the task being due can't exceed 14 days, right?
Per smart plan, touches cannot exceed 7 within 7 days, 12 within 30 days, or 15. So basically, that's why we had to, because we're touching. Just in the first day alone, I think there's like 7 touches. There's more than 7 touches just within that. So to answer your question, Evan. So this is only 3 days. And then, so we have a touch here. So that's 1. We send out an email. That's 2. A text message, that's 3. So I don't know all the, like, we just created this back when smart plans first rolled out, and we just haven't, like, why reinvent the wheel? So that's kind of why we still do it like this. So why it's chained together. Does that answer your question? Did I give you what you're looking for, Joe?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. or Evan, I don't know who answered the question.
No, you're good. I think what I was mentioning was I just want to make sure the viewers at home weren't confused, because there was a point where we said they can't exceed 14 days. And just want to be clear, your smart plan can go longer than 14 days.
Absolutely.
It's just tasks that you create. When a task step happens at a smart plan, it actually creates the task when that step hits, and it's due within a certain amount of days. By default, it's 1, and you could plan them out to be longer if you wanted to.
Correct. And to the point, which is a 10 days of pain is a lot of touches in a short period. And so you may exceed that. And so we need these multiple smart plans. Otherwise, that's going to be a problem.
Exactly. And that's why we chained ours together, was because we didn't want to break the rules. And so that's why we kept it within the rules, and that allows us to continue That's why our smart plan is 4 days or 4 smart plans long, is because you have to have that many to be able to get everything that we're sending out. I mean, I think the statistic says you have to try and contact somebody 9 times before they'll actually pick up the phone and talk to you. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to get that person that came in the door into our storefront on Facebook or, Google ads or wherever they came from, and say, hey, I'm here. Let me help you. So, yeah.
Love that. Cool.
So
let's go on to day 2 or task 2 rather, or plan 2, because it's more like we're on like day 4 at this point. It's plan 2.
Yeah. So we're on day 4 of
whatever. I made that up. I don't
know. No, it's actually you are correct. We're on day 4. So, and as you can see, it picks right back up and says, hey, make another phone call. Then we send out another email. Preview. So funny story about these people, we were actually doing a photo shoot and these people were coming in and buying a new home. And we were like, hey, would you guys be models for us real quick and do some live shots? And so they were really nice. But, we just...
Why didn't you call me, Andy?
Dude, I didn't know you'd hop on an airplane, like spur of the moment for me. So I'd always call you, man. Another text message that goes out, and we are really trying to utilize Twilio to the best of our ability. It shows, the cool thing now is that when the text messages come back, they come back to our office number, and so we love that. We love being able to see that people are responding to our stuff. Another email that and that's the cool thing, like this stuff fires off and we don't have to do anything. Why didn't this open?
Yeah.
So there we go. Have you talked to a lender? So that's our business partner, Frank. And it just asks, that's one of the first steps. And we also plug Keller Mortgage. We actually love trying to save our clients money. So since we were one of the first offices to use Keller Mortgage, we've saved our clients $165,000 in savings just by them using Keller Mortgage with the 0+ loan, the $1,000 tax credit. The $1,000 credit. My wife and I, we've actually personally used them 3 times to refinance our houses. So really, so we'd like to point that stuff out to our clients.
Yeah. And even if you don't ultimately end up using them with a transaction, or if you have a preferred vendor partner that you love, putting something like that in 10 days of pain is so awesome because it's very eye-catching.
Right.
People are saving lots of money on this 0+ loan. First-time home buyers maybe want to reach out and ask more about it. They may not ultimately go with it, but exactly. We're just trying to get them to reach back out to us at this point, right?
Exactly. And I mean that's the thing is like how do you get people in for 0 down? That's another question that we ask. So excuse me. That's the thing is
sorry. Is that my voice?
Yeah, I turned on the live stream on my phone to check it out, and
yeah, I can barely hear it. And Jody is in the living room watching us right now. So hi, babe.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean,
is that why she yells in the advice every now and then?
Yeah, that's why she's the queen at doing this stuff. She's actually the one that created all of this. So. Yeah. I love her and I can't do this without her. So, but I mean, like I said, all of this I think is in the library, and we just don't have this 10 days of pain. We do have different ones for different things. So we have like a seller's 10 days of pain for seller leads that come in. And we also have a 10 days relocation guide. So like you can see the relocation.
Well, what's cool about segmenting, I know we talked about this a while back, is what you could do in theory is instead of instead of adding them to the step 2, you could just simply create a task that's add to next step, right? And this is now a branch point, right? So I could add them to this 10 days of pain or this 10 days of pains. I could actually start creating some smartness to these smart plans where I've gotten through the first step and now it's more appropriate to go this way or this way. Or maybe I take a couple days off and I'm not getting to that task. So if it doesn't auto file that next smart plan, but I have to manually put them on there, I've now created a breakpoint where I have some ability to do some stuff.
Yeah. And that's the important thing is like, so the reason why we tie everything in together is it just makes it automated. Like we really want to automate our business as much as we possibly can. And then all of these go into tasks to let us know like, hey, you have this to do today, Andy, make your phone calls. So, it's not going to happen immediately. We have gotten a couple of unicorns since we started using smart plans and using command in general that, like when we first rolled out and started using Facebook ads, this was in 2018. We listed a property in South Austin that was like $900,000. And we had a buyer that actually came in and found us on a Facebook ad and was a realtor in Florida and said, I don't wish to be represented. And we ended up making 6% commission on that deal. And, like that's, like we get those things every now and then. Somebody calls in on one of our listings and says, hey, of course they have a buyer. That was a unicorn. Like I don't see that happening too often, but ads work, smart plans work. And that's the thing. It's not going to happen immediately. It's going to be like over time. You guys are going to have to work the system and keep calling these people. And that's the thing. Even after, let me go to real quick and show you what happens when the 10 days of pain ends.
Yeah. Real quick though, before you do that, Kimber, friend of the show, former guest, fellow labs advisor, says, is there a limit to how many smart plans I can stack?
So I believe that there is. Joe, I think you actually know the answer better than I do.
I don't.
Okay. Hold on. Jody. Do you know the answer to that? There is, she says. Oh, she says she doesn't think there is. So okay. I don't think we've ever gone past like 4.
And your random question, because we're looking at this and there's a lot of automation here. There's a lot of steps that are being done. It sounds like a considerable time investment that you're making. How much time do you say a week do you spend doing your activities in your 10 days of pain?
Like actually doing the activities that are on the 10 days of pain?
Yeah. So if I wanted to start next week, right? Like I copied your plan and I'd say I spent $50, on Facebook this weekend. How much time should I be planning on investing in this follow-up?
So you should be doing your 2 hours of follow-up every day. So like Monday through Friday, you should plan on making phone calls from 9 until 11 o'clock. I think that's when our time is. Actually, it is at that time. And then when the new leads come in, you should be picking up the phone immediately. Kelly sends us an alert that says, hey, you've got a new lead. So speed to lead. And then we hop on our phone. I use my phone through the Safari, and then I log in to Command, which it looks almost identical to everything that you're seeing here. And then I'll pick up the lead, and then I'll make the phone call and say, hey, this is Andy Fisher, and I saw that you just reached out to me via Facebook, and you were calling about our new listing at 123 Main Street. I just wanted to see if you had any questions or if I can answer anything that you may want to inquire about the property. And so it's having that conversation to make the smart plan work. So I would say at least 2 hours a day. following up with all of your contacts that come in, all of the leads that come in and that you are assigned. And then once our 10 days of pain ends, then we put them on the follow-up 10 days of pain.
Okay.
So, and I
want to say, I love that in your role play, you actually had to hold the cell phone up to your ear. That is like real role play right there. You are getting into the zone, and I appreciate that.
Well, it's you guys, man. Like, you do it to me. I get, you put me on the spot, and I'm trying to make sure.
Hey, Fisher, with the Austin AF team.
That's right. We're here to help. So, but yeah, so we'll basically, our 10 days of follow-up is calling them at least twice a week, and for like 2 more weeks. And then I think we send out, also put them on the monthly neighborhood nurture. And then once we've done 2 times a week, we go to 1 time a week every week. And then it's like once every other week, and just keep trying to make contact with those people until they tell us to, stop calling, or whatever they tell us, they die. So.
And that's the whole point of this, right? We want to identify that they're either real or not. Right. And sometimes when we identify them that they're real, it's not a pleasant conversation. No. And sometimes it's a great conversation. And that's what we're digging through the muck for, right?
Yeah.
And
exactly. Yeah. It's a numbers game. I mean, that's the thing. We've learned that from Gary. We've learned it, from the MREA. It's not, you're not going to get everybody that walks in the door is going to be like, I'm ready to sign with you. That's not how it works. You've got to build the rapport. You've got to have the conversation, be yourself, be genuine, come from,
What do you, and we've asked this question of just about everybody who's talked about this, but what are your conversion numbers, would you say? Do you know, so let's say you got 100 Facebook leads. How many of them will talk to you? How many will be actual pieces of business?
We'll probably, out of 100, we'll probably get like 10 actual conversations. And then out of that 10, we'll probably get maybe 1 or 2. So, I mean, it's not one of those. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like our numbers, we're running a lot of ads. We typically try and run an ad a day at $30 a day. So, I mean, that's the thing. We were spending, I want to say it was like $50,000 with Zillow when Jody quit her job. She quit her job, and we had to figure out a way for us to have a steady income, because, I just didn't have the steady, thing coming in all the time. And so we were buying Zillow leads. And like, now I look back and I was like, God, that was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my entire life. Yeah. But we did get some business from it. We kept ourselves afloat, and then we dumped them after, when Command actually took off. And now we're strictly doing Facebook ads.
So how many leads would you get from that? So $30 a day. Let's say you run at 365 a year. I mean, I know you probably don't do it every single day, but that's $11,000 you're spending a year. I hope it was okay for you to throw that out there. How many leads on that $30 spend would you say on average?
So we've been running, believe it or not, we've been running some rental ads, because we're trying to convert those renters into buyers. It's like, so we're down to like, I don't know. So this week alone, we just went over our numbers. I think this morning we had 18 leads come in off of one, 16 off of another. The one that we got 18 leads off of, I think we're down to like 80 something cents per click, 82 cents per click. Here, let's just take a look real quick. I don't mind. I'm not.
And so my point on this is I like people to get a realistic idea, because if you're going to spend that much, like, how many leads total are you getting? So let's say for every $30 you spend, how many leads do you think you're getting?
For every $30 I spend, I'm probably getting, say, like 10 to 15 leads out of that.
Okay.
So,
well, that's respectable. And so then you would have to do that. So then if you get 10 leads to get 100 for a closing, you're talking about $300 a closing.
Probably. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay.
So
and that's not, I mean, you know, if I could give you $300 and you give me a $10,000 commission check, that's a pretty good trade.
Absolutely. I'll spend that. That's why I don't have a problem spending, like these are our active leads right now that we're running. And you can see we're down to 18 leads off of this one. That was a listing that we actually have under contract, but we're still using it. So that's $1.50 a lead. This one, we haven't gotten anything. So that was a bomb. And that'll happen. That's the thing. We're trying. We're just seeing what, here's this one, 21 leads. This is a rental lead ad that we're doing, $1 a click. I mean, it's numbers, guys, and it's just practicing and figuring out. It's not a science, and I wish it was. Like I would totally figure it out. So,
but it is. I mean, it is a science, right? The MREA tells us that, right?
Yeah, it's
in a sense, right? So it's a numbers game. So we're talking. You said 1 to 2 for every 100 leads you come in, and I like to point this out every single time. What is the MREA have not met conversion rate? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't. I'm sorry, man. I wish I did. Like
it's okay. It's
I
50
don't know
to 1.
Yeah.
It's 50
I mean,
to 1.
I think we've added, since we've been running ads for the last year and a half, we've probably added about 1,500 people to our database. And I mean, that's the thing. Like we're trying to follow up with those. And I know I'm using the word try, so please, everybody, we are working to follow up with those people. And that's the thing. Not all of the leads that come in, some of them are trash, and they're bunk numbers, bunk whatever, like their information, the emails aren't right. But the people that, if we got a bunk number,
good old Fred Flintstone.
That's right. Fred Flintstone. But if it's a bunk number that we've called and it's not working and the Twilio bounces back, then you know what? I'm still going to try and send them an email. And until the email tells us that it bounces and it's been blacklisted or it's not a working number. And then at that point, I'll put that lead that came in into the trash, which archive it and just mark it as trash. And that way, when we get to the point that we add an ISA and it's like, hey, go dig in the trash bin and see if any of these things pan out, that's a possibility someday. So,
it's, I mean, the numbers add up, right? The numbers make sense. And I love this. So
it's just working the leads, guys. And that's the thing. That's why we use the 10 days of pain. Like we have it, relocation. We run relocation ads. There's a lot of people moving here to Austin. So we try and run stuff over in like California, near Silicon Valley area, LA, New York, Chicago, wherever we see the migration patterns, people are moving here. That's where we want to try and run the ads at. So,
Sorry.
I hear you, Joe.
That's actually Andy talking. I can't find my mute button. I'm having a day.
It's all good, man. But I mean, that's the thing. Like we want to have different smart plans. So like the buyers, the seller leads that we're running, we want to put them onto a seller smart plan. We don't want them to have a buyer smart plan. So we go into them and we say, hey, this is what we're doing. If you want me to, I can jump in and show you the seller's 10 days of pain.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Before we do.
Yes, sir.
Before we do, does anybody in the Facebook audience have any questions? We've had a lively chat and we have been covering quite a bit of topics. And just so we're all aware, we are at 3:40, so we have about 20 minutes of time. So Andy, if you feel we have some time to go over some listing 10 days of pain, wow, I can't talk. Take it back over from me.
Yeah. What is going on? Well, there's a relocation.
You have something in the filter. Is that? Is
that? Jody just said type in seller. There you go.
I love that Jody is yelling at you about how to do this. This is so fantastic.
She's like, you guys should have had her on. She's amazing. Like, I don't know if you guys realize this, but so Jody is not technically a labs advisor. She likes to call herself a labs groupie. And I'm like, baby, we're kind of a team together. We're like, between the two of us, we're a labs advisor in one, like. I
love that. So, I think our new policy, Evan, is if you are going to come on Labs Advisors Live, there has to be somebody in the background yelling things at you while the show goes on, because it makes for better entertainment.
It does. Yeah. So this is our sellers one. So, of course, it's got the same trigger, like the trigger event comes in, make a phone call, of course, send the email, which, I'm betting this one looks almost identical. It looks a little different. So that you clicked on a Facebook ad, it's a hot market, all that stuff. Immediately sends out the 10 days of pain text message through Twilio. And Jody and I went through a lot of different text messages and verbiage to be able to create this plan how we wanted it. And so I'll post this one in the library, because I don't think we have this one, but we spent like 2 days researching like different verbiage that people put on their text messages and stuff out there. And we created this, we have found some really good stuff, and we of course changed it to curtail towards us. And we just want to make sure that we are getting out there in front of people. So it's not going to be one of those, I don't want to, and you can see like on this one, we only call them on day one. And then we send them a text message, and then there's the delay. And then we send them an email again and a text message, and then a delay. And then we make a phone call again and a text message. So we're sending out the text message like every day. And then, so we didn't like sellers. We didn't feel. Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. So you're doing relocation. So is this and just ideas? I don't know. Is this, let's say you're targeting Cupertino, right? Because people are moving from Cupertino to Austin. You're seeing that. Yeah. Are you giving them a seller 10 days of pain, like assuming they have to sell to move? Or are you focusing buyer for them? Like, what's your strategy here?
So that's the conversation that has to do when we actually have the conversation with them. And so when somebody says, yes, we need to sell our house here in Cupertino for us to be able to move to Austin, you know what? That is amazing, because I actually have a really good friend who's a KW agent in Cupertino. And I want to make sure that I can put 2 and 2 together. I'm going to tell you a secret. I don't know anybody in Cupertino. Is that where you live, Joe?
No, I'm in Connecticut. But if there are any Cupertino agents watching this, Andy does not yet know somebody in that area.
I don't know you yet, but that's the thing. I'm going to go over to my referral and look for you. And I will find.
We are so off topic now. I love it.
I know we are. I'm so sorry. But that's kind of what we do. I mean, you asked the question. So, and smart plans. So.
And so we do have a question here from the wonderful friend of the show, Chad Andrus, or as I like to call him, Julian. What's the biggest thing AF has learned from running these campaigns?
It's time. It's not going to happen immediately. It's going to be time. So for every 100 leads that come in, one of them is going to be a good one for you.
Okay. Cool. I love that answer.
Patience, young grasshopper.
Yeah, that's right. Patience. Keep working them. Don't stop. Keep working the lead.
Chad, get back on the phone.
Yeah, Chad, stop being lazy. You sell one nice piece of land, and you think the world's yours. I mean, that's what happens here with Chad.
So what else can I answer for you guys? I feel like
we're gonna give it a second, because sometimes on Facebook there's a delay, so that does occur from time to time. While we are waiting for more Facebook comments, Andy, if there was one thing to take away from this today, what would it be?
Don't recreate the wheel. Go and find it. The command library, smart plan library, guys. I'm not the only 10 days of pain smart plan out there. There's like a dozen, if not more, dozens of 10 days of pain smart plans. Don't recreate the wheel. Take what somebody else has done, read over it, and make sure that it fits you. Tweak it to make sure that it's original to you. And then, yeah, that's the most important thing. Like, just keep following up.
Good deal.
And we had a comment here. Hold on, let me find it. Okay, that's a good idea. If Kimber's still on, I don't know what that good idea was from. We were moving so fast back then. So I'd love for you to share in the comments what that good idea was, so that we can highlight that for people. So Kimber, please, if you're still watching, what was that good idea? We want to know.
And that's the thing also, guys, like the library, since we've rolled it out about a year ago, that's the thing. I'm constantly going through the library and I see some great things on there, and it's like, I'll add it, and then I'll look at it, and it's like, well, maybe I can tweak it, and then I'll do some like little tweaks and stuff like that. So, go ahead.
Yeah. And so like, I might take your smart plan, but up here in Connecticut, I'm not going to say howdy, right? And I don't know. I'm just making that. I'm not going to say aloha. That's one I've seen before too. And yet, that might be very localized. So definitely read through those smart plans, figure out what works for you and what doesn't, and add your own personality.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's all these tools are here to do is help you make your business run smoother and make your life easier. We have 2 little ones. And so if I can have something that does this for myself, and it gives me a little bit more time to play with my kids, so, that's the gist of it. That's the thing about being a labs advisor that I really bought into from the very beginning, is we wanted tools to help us make our lives easier, and that way we could live the life that we want to live. And Command is, guys, if you're holding back on using Command, it really is a great tool and doesn't cost you a single cent. Like, that's the great thing, other than spending money on running ads. Like, I'm going to spend a little bit of money. I'm going to spend money on getting, doing the Twilio stuff. But I was spending $1,500 a month, I think, is what we were spending on Brevity before we jumped over to Command. Granted, it wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be right off the bat, but, we stuck through it. And the tools that are here today are like, they're amazing. I love using Command. So it's really a great and free tool for us KW agents. And that's the thing, like, they're constantly adding new things in here all the time to make our lives just a little bit easier. Yeah. So, if you ever have an idea that something's missing from Command, go to ideas.kw.com and tell the developers, like, hey, we need this. And then get on our Facebook group here and say, hey guys, go vote up my idea. This is what it is. Do you think it's worthy? Like, and trust me, people will do that. It's a no-brainer. Like, I love seeing new ideas. So
cool. Evan, I think that's time. You usually start to tell us to shut up. Are we there?
Well, we don't have any more Facebook questions, so I believe we are nearing the end of our time together. And what a fantastic Friday it has been, Andy.
Kimber abandoned us. Kimber did not circle back. So
Yeah. Take like Andy's saying, take from the library. There's so many different ways to do your 10 days of pain, right? Different ways days chain together, different strategies you can implement. Andy's got an awesome one. And Andy, you said they can find yours on there too, correct?
Yep. If they just look up AF Austin, you guys will find, I always put there, like that way you guys can find anything that we create. I'll make sure and add the sellers one on there after this. So that way, if anybody wants the sellers one, you guys can look over it, make it into your own, guys. We're coming from contribution. We want, we've learned a lot over the years, and we want everybody else to be able to, make their lives a little bit easier. So,
and here's Jody correcting you, saying to search Andy Fisher as the author. So thank you, Jody, for throwing that in there. We appreciate you very much.
Behind every great man, there's a woman with correct information.
That's right. She's the best. So she makes the team work well.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, Andy, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your wisdom, your expertise. I definitely learned a few things today from yours and the way you do things, and I'm really excited about. Joe, any last hurrah, any big bad takeaways?
Not anything much, except apparently Chad would like to really promote Andy and say, send all your Austin referrals to him. And I couldn't agree with him more. Andy, AF Austin, which is Andy Fisher Austin, in case you were wondering. No donations needed to KW Cares for his name, because it's Andy Fisher Austin.
I was Andy Fisher Austin before it was something else. So
yeah. And we love that happened to you. And in about 5 years, people will be like, why'd you name your team that? It's so silly.
Yeah, it is. So. But that's what it stands for, Andy Fisher Austin. If you guys have anybody that's moving to the Austin area, please send them to us. We'll definitely treat them as family, the kind that you actually like. So,
that's a good disclaimer.
Yeah,
we like that disclaimer.
We'll take care of them for sure.
Cool. Awesome. Well, guys, make sure to join us next week. With a fun note, is next week is the first episode I will not be on. Joe will be manning the fort, taking care of everything while I am gone. But we will be doing Noel Marrero and Kelly Cody, and we're going to be doing some things in Command MC. So for those of you that watch that are members of Market Center Leadership or do recruiting, that's going to be a fantastic episode for you. And we're also just excited to have Kelly Cody on there as well.
It looks like Chad has decided that he is going to be a co-host.
Come on,
he's just throwing up. I'm taking over with Joe. So
there we go.
I'm okay with that, Chad. If
you're asking for trouble, man. You're asking for trouble.
But Kelly is there to keep him in line.
That's true.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, I'm excited for that. And then following that week, we will be having Sammy Massey on, and she will be covering another smart plan for 30 days post-close, how to really ramp up what you're doing with your clients after close. And then last but not least, wrapping up the month with that Mega Camp recap panel. At one point, I will learn how to talk.
And that one, I will be away on vacation, so I will be not on that one. So
that's going to be some good stuff, guys. I think there's going to be some really great, mind-blowing nuggets that's coming out of Mega Camp this year. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, Joe, thank you as always for joining me. Andy, thank you again for coming on today. That will do it for this week's Labs Advisors Live. We'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. We love you, and thanks for being here. And